Kiss Daniel again, yet again. Kiss Daniel is a popular Nigerian singer who has been known for his groundbreaking viral song Buga. This song is loved by people all over the world, and because of this, Kiss Daniel has been getting invitations to shows to perform. This indeed is a great boost to his career. But does Kiss Daniel see this as a boost? Does he see it as a boost to him, or does he think that he's doing the world a favor with these beautiful songs and by showing up for shows? Well, this question is because Kiss Daniel, for the third time in recent times, has been reported not to show up for his shows. Several people at several times have had several accounts of how Chris Daniel won't show up for a show, or he'll come so late, and when he comes he could sit in the car or ask the DJ to play his song for about 30 minutes, and then he shows up and give the crowds less show time. So at the end of the day, some people say he could just sing for 30 minutes, 13 minutes, 15 minutes, or whatever it is. Someone once wrote and said, I can testify to what this guy is saying. Sometime in 2019, Kiss Daniel came to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and a lot of people came from different provinces to watch him, and he came late. Not only that, he stayed in the car for over an hour, and his argument was that the organizer did not bring girls to bring him out of the car. When he finally came out, he only sang for 13 minutes. That day, I lost all the respect for him. My problem is that he's closing the door for others. This right here is my worry. Now, moving on to Tanzania. Kiss Daniel refused to show up for a concert that was organized for him in Tanzania. Hey, God. Now, that wasn't funny at all. Sources said they had begged him to go ahead and perform, but he insisted that he can't perform without a particular chain, being that he was mindful of his brand and didn't want to mess up his brand, as going up without that chain would mess up his brand.
Please, you tell me, Steve, do you want me to? Bro, you are looking good. You are wearing a very fine t-shirt and a gold on your neck. What you just need is a jacket and a glass. You are okay. Show was so damn. My brother, he was talking of his brand, his branding, that people will not see that he's not wearing different. I say, bro, think about people's emotion. 3,000 capacity, bro. Think of people's emotion. 3,000 people are here. The minister is there. The biggest people in this country are there on this show because it's a premium show.
Wow.
The biggest table on that show was $10,000. $5,000 table was more than 10. Talking of $2,500 table was,
Now, if this is true, I'd like to say that Kiss Daniel had misplaced priorities, and he does not understand that the market right now is competitive. And when it waits to your direction, you take advantage of it, maximize it to the fullest, and don't miss out on any juice there is. Apparently, he doesn't know that. Now, this is a very angry mob taking out their frustration on the organizers of the show, throwing bottles, papers, and stuff on the stage and at the event planners. Fans were really outraged by Kiss Daniel's refusal to show up, even though they said that when Kiss Daniel eventually agreed to show up, the venue was already messed up.
But there was a time Kiss actually stand up, okay, let's go and manage the situation. Then we already meant that this venue was already messed up because the time was going. The venue already messed up. People were throwing bottles. People were doing that.
You did not.
Well, according to Nigerians, all this on a story. He has been arrested and he's currently at the Tanzanian police station.
I told you were causing a very big damage. I don't know who is I told you. I warned you yesterday. I begged you 2 hours on this show. I begged you 2 hours. Look at what you're doing. Why not never apologize? Fuck you, idiot. Fuck you. Apologize to these people. Apologize to these people. Apologize. You apologize to the police. You apologize to the police.
If you want to succeed in life, integrity is something you must possess. Anyways, he has come out to apologize and he promised a free show on Friday.
This was actually Tanzania. Yeah, Tanzania.
Tanzania, you going for it? You going for it? You cause the damage to this country. You must go in for it.
Yeah, I've been here 2015. I've been here. I come here. I went to Zanzibar. Really? Yeah, I was here. I come here often, you know, to chill and have fun because I love the people of Tanzania. Obviously, good energy, good vibe, you know. So yeah, I sat down with Straight Up Vibes, my brother Montana, and I told him, you know what, the show must go on, regardless of the press out there, regardless of the news out there, regardless of whatever it is that is flying out around there. Let's make this happen. So we came to an agreement to put up a show on Friday. No, this one. All right, cool. This Friday. Yeah, so this Friday, and a free show, by the way. So I will be partnering with Straight Up Vibes to make that happen. And also, I must apologize to the fans. None of this was intentional. I love my job. Especially, I love performing. I'm a great entertainer. So I love performing, I love my job. So none of this was intentional. I didn't mean to disrespect the fans, most especially the fans.
Even though he was trying to make it sound as light as possible, I can still see some tension in the air by the people sitting beside him. It just wasn't funny at all. Now, come to think of it, he's going to have a free show on Friday. That's going to cost him more. It's going to cost him his time. It's going to cost him good. Everybody is still going to lose at the end of the day. So compare the fact that he's going to have a free show on Friday versus if he had just shown up on that Monday. Wouldn't it have been better for him? His name and his reputation wouldn't have been in the mud. He won't have to do a free show and all of that. So we all need to learn from this. Integrity and humility is very important, because don't be like Kiss Daniel. Thanks so much for watching my channel. Bye. Meanwhile, let me leave you with this clip.
I delayed them for 8 hours in Nairobi. I actually mentioned that in that same day. I don't know if you can remember. An airline delayed them in Nairobi for 8 hours, which was actually not good for us. And we at this site, we were finding a very, very urgent solution as far as trying to book the next available flight. Immediately we were booking that flight. He sent me a message that they are already boarding that same airline that delay, which are around 8:15 or 8:50, which they will arrive here around 10:15 or so. So when they arrived around that time, but actually the time they were supposed to perform is 3 a.m. You know, so they arrived around 10. Then they met that the bag wasn't on that airline. That will actually waste another time for them to fill in the form, so that the bag can come that same day or the next day, because you can't just leave your bag on the flight and leave that same day and leave the airport. You have to fill up the form. I was there in the airport waiting for them to come outside, which actually take a lot of time because it's airline. Probably there are other people who are actually there. We were patient at the airport. They came out. At least we left the airport around before midnight, probably by 12 or after 11. Then we left. Immediately left, we asked the band to go do a sound check. Then me, personally, I went to the hotel with Kiss and Olu. So during that time, the band came. I didn't know. It was after everything. The band complained of some technical issues and all that. Before that day happened. So in that process, they complained about those things. Like there was no proper clauses, which actually we have to bring in some things. Which the only mistake that happened that day was the technical team. They actually tell me, maybe they were trying to actually save that part, not telling me there's some technical issue that didn't come that will make them not have to give us a perfect show.
Okay, so saying now, sorry, Mr. Steve, you are saying now that it wasn't because of the gold chain.
I think later when we sat down, I think there was some issues beyond that chain and the closes, which
Okay.
actually came on the statement later, which
Okay.
we are both going to address right now. There was a lot of actually issues beyond that. There was some technical issue which the technical manager came to actually complain later that he was trying not to bring out that day. We're trying to manage it so that we can postpone the show for the next day. But at the end of the day, me as a foreigner who has to have a show in another country, trying to protect my name to make sure no matter how what goes wrong, let's try and manage the situation. You know. So as Chris Daniel, who is an artist who wants to give the people the best, was actually trying to hold back so we can postpone this show. So a lot of things, miscommunication came at that time. So for me, I was actually begging, please, if we don't do this show, they won't understand us. We are Nigerians. I'm a Nigerian here, you are Nigerian as an artist. If we don't perform that day, everything is going to go wrong. So that was where I was trying to push for us to perform and all that, stay that day. But there was a time kids actually stand up, okay, let's go and manage the situation. Then we already meant that this venue was already messed up because the time was going. The venue already messed up. People were throwing bottles. People were doing that.
But you did not say this that day, Stephen. You did not say Kiss at any point wanted to go and manage the situation. You just said that they begged him for 5 hours. I have the statements here. You
Yes,
said
I
the
do.
promoter Paulo, you specifically mentioned Paulo Koya, and I told you he was my neighbor for many years and a friend I've known for over 20 years, and I worked with right from the time of Kanu Heart Foundation. You said that Paulo begged Kiss Daniels and he was crying for 5 hours, and Kiss Daniels refused to perform. There was no place where you said that he got up and wanted to salvage the situation. Please
That was
clarify.
that was after a lot of trying to beg to manage and manage him to perform. This was when he wanted. It was I think around 5:30 or 5 o'clock this time because we're all in the room trying to beg him with other people here. He actually stand up. I won't lie to you. Maybe I didn't mention that because that day emotion was high. That day I was in the station. I also got invited by the police because of that vandalization.
Okay,
You
okay,
understand?
okay.
I also got so the place got
All right.
messy. Mm.
I'm $100,000. We all remember. I even brought my calculator that day and calculated $60,000 to be 42 million naira. And since Daniel does not live too far from my house, I was thinking of how I'll go and wait on the road for him. Maybe we pay tithe of the $60,000 to me. So, what do you have to say about that? Did you really pay him $60,000 in full? Did you pay him 100% of that money, or what was really the story?
Yeah, the money was paid, but not Kizane was not the direct booking to that show. It was an agency, like I mentioned before. It was an
Okay, now
agency
but
which the same name
100%
I mentioned.
paid, as in